David Emmanuel Adebayo stood on the side of the road with a heavy gun in his hands. It was a rifle he had just taken from a man who wanted to kill him. It happened in Minna, the capital of Niger State, in March 2026. Just a few minutes before this, David was a regular businessman. Now he was standing over a scene of blood and broken glass. He had just shot one of the men who tried to rob him. The air was filled with the smell of gunpowder and the sound of a car speeding away. David had done something most people would never dare to do. He had fought back against armed robbers and won a small part of the battle. But the story did not start with a gun in his hand. It started with a very large bag of money and a quiet plan made in the dark. David had spent his morning going to different banks in Minna. He went to Wema Bank and withdrew 5 million naira. Then he went to Taj Bank and withdrew another 5 million naira. In total, he was carrying 10 million naira in cash. This is a very large amount of money for any person to carry. David did not know that as he walked out of the bank doors, eyes were watching him. A group of men in a Toyota Corolla were sitting nearby. They were not there to do bank business. They were there to find a target. They saw David get into his car with the money. They started their engine and began to follow him. They followed him through the busy streets, waiting for him to get to a place where they could strike. David drove toward a place called Iyafemi Restaurant. This restaurant is on Shiroro Road, which is a very well-known part of Minna. David thought he was safe because there were people around. He did not know that the robbers did not care about witnesses. As he pulled over, the Toyota Corolla blocked his way. The doors flew open and men with guns jumped out. They did not ask nicely for the money. They fired their guns into the air to scare everyone. The sound of the bullets hitting the air made people run for cover. The robbers shouted at David to give them the 10 million naira. They thought he would be too scared to move. They thought he would just hand over the bag and cry. They were wrong. The struggle that followed was like something from a movie. David did not put his hands up. Instead, he grabbed the barrel of one of the rifles. He and the robber began to pull the gun back and forth. David was fighting for his life and his hard-earned money. Most people would say this was a very dangerous thing to do. One wrong move and the gun could have gone off and killed him. But David did not let go. He pulled with all his strength and managed to pull the rifle away from the robber. Now the victim was the one holding the gun. He did not hesitate. He pointed the gun at the robbers and pulled the trigger. A bullet hit one of the men. The robbers began to panic. They did not expect the victim to shoot back at them. When the bullet hit the robber, the whole plan changed. The gang realized that David was not going to stop. They saw their friend bleeding, and they saw David standing his ground with the rifle. They decided to run away before the police arrived, but they did not leave empty-handed. In the chaos, they jumped into David's own car. The 10 million naira was still inside that car. They stepped on the gas and drove away as fast as they could. They left their own car, the Toyota Corolla, behind at the scene. They also left David standing there with the gun he had taken from them. He had saved his life and he had injured a criminal, but his money and his car were gone in a cloud of dust. People started to come out of the restaurant and the nearby shops. They looked at David and the abandoned car. The police were called immediately. Soon, the sounds of sirens filled Shiroro Road. Superintendent Wasiu Abiodun, the man who speaks for the Niger State Police, arrived to look at the scene. He confirmed that the police recovered the rifle David had snatched. They also took the Toyota Corolla that the robbers left behind. This car is very important because it might have fingerprints or papers that tell the police who the robbers are. The police praised David for his bravery, but they also reminded everyone that fighting armed men is very risky. Many things could have gone wrong during that struggle on the street. If you want to see more stories about people who stood up against crime in history, you need to subscribe to Tremendous Crime in History right now. We bring you the most honest and exciting stories about real events that happened in Nigeria and around the world. By subscribing, you help us keep track of these criminals and show the world what happens when people fight back. You will never miss an update on cases like David's. So hit that subscribe button now and join our community of truth seekers. The police began to look for the robbers. They sent messages to all the hospitals in Minna and the surrounding towns. They knew that one of the robbers was shot. A person with a gunshot wound cannot go to a normal doctor without the police finding out. They told the doctors to call them if anyone showed up with a bullet hole in their body. Meanwhile, David had to explain everything to the detectives. He told them how he was followed from the bank and how the attack happened at the restaurant. The case was moved to the State Criminal Investigation Department, which is called the SCID. This is the office that handles the most serious crimes in the state. Even though David was brave, he was now in a very difficult position. He had no car and no money. 10 million naira is a lot of money to lose in one day. Many people on social media began to talk about his story. Some people said he was a hero for shooting the robber. Other people said he was lucky to be alive. They argued about whether it is smart to fight back when a gun is pointed at you. David's story became a lesson for everyone in Minna. It showed that crime can happen anywhere, even in front of a popular restaurant. It also showed that the criminals are often watching the banks to see who is carrying a lot of cash in a bag.
The detectives at the SCID started to work on the evidence. They looked inside the Toyota Corolla that the robbers left behind. They were looking for anything that could lead them to the gang. Sometimes, robbers leave a phone or a piece of paper that gives away their identity. They also looked at the rifle David took. Each gun has a number on it, and the police used that number to find out where the gun came from. While the police worked, the news of the robbery spread across Nigeria. Everyone wanted to know if the man who was shot had been caught. They wanted to know if David would ever get his 10 million naira back from the people who stole it. Write down the word brave in the comment section if you think David did the right thing by fighting back. Your comments help other people find this story and learn how to stay safe. Tell us what you would do if you were in his shoes. We read every single comment, so let your voice be heard. The police spokesperson, Wasiu Abiodun, told the public that they were doing everything possible to catch the suspects. He said the police are using technical intelligence to track the stolen car and the men. This means they might be using cameras or tracking phones to find out where the robbers went after they fled from Shiroro Road. The police also warned people again about carrying large amounts of cash. They said it is better to use bank transfers or to ask for a police escort if you must move millions of naira. David's experience was a painful reminder that carrying cash in Nigeria can make you a target for very dangerous people who are always watching. As the days went by, more details came out about David Emmanuel Adebayo. He was described as a man who worked hard for his money and was not ready to let it go without a fight. His struggle with the robbers showed that even when criminals have guns, they can still be defeated if someone is brave enough. But the cost was high. David had to deal with the shock of the attack. Even though he won the fight for the gun, he still had the memory of the cold metal and the sound of the shots in his head. This kind of event can stay with a person for a long time. It changes how you look at the world and how you feel when you walk down the street. The investigation is still going on in Minna. The police are looking into the history of the Toyota Corolla to see if it was stolen from someone else before the robbery. They are also checking to see if this gang has robbed other people at banks before. Often, these groups of robbers do the same thing over and over until they are caught. They wait at banks, follow people, and attack them in quiet areas. By fighting back and taking their gun, David might have helped the police stop this gang from hurting anyone else. Every piece of evidence David provided, from the gun to the description of the men, is a tool for the police to use. The story of David Emmanuel Adebayo is one that people in Niger State will remember for a long time. It is a story about a split-second decision that changed everything. If David had not fought back, the robbers would have taken his money and his car quietly, and they would still have their rifle to use on another person. Because David chose to resist, the robbers lost their car, they lost a gun, and one of them was badly hurt. This made the robbery much harder for them than they expected. It showed that even though criminals try to stay in control, things can go wrong for them very quickly when a victim refuses to be afraid. However, we must also look at the other side of the story. David lost his 10 million naira and his car. He also came very close to losing his life. If the other robbers had fired their guns at him while he was struggling for the rifle, the story would have had a much sadder ending. This is why the police and security experts tell people to be very careful.
I went to the bank in Minna to make a withdrawal of 9 million naira. So immediately I left the bank, no more than 10 minutes, armed robber came to attack me, well armed. So immediately I was about to start, I've already started my car. I just saw two armed men, one for my left, one for my right. They came to attack me. So they went away with my money. So as they went with my money, I was praying in tongues because that day I was fasting. So I now went directly to meet one of them. God gave me the grace. I collected the ammunition. They were firing at me, but I don't know how God...
Wait. Are you the man that took gun from armed robbers?
Yes, sir.
Oh, you are the one?
I see the videos.
I saw the video. Okay, go ahead.
So God gave me the wisdom. I collected the gun from armed robber, and I've never shot before. I don't have any training. I was speaking in tongue. I went to the front of their car. I shoot at the driver. I said, this car will not move unless I'm not serving the God of my father. I said, this car will not move. Unfortunately, they start the car. Their car refused to move. They started, so they have no other choice than to go with my car. So, but I told my people before I left home yesterday.
Yeah, that's the video on the screen.
I said, I'm going to see my car because the picture of my father is inside. That car will not be missing. So immediately I reached Lokoja. My wife called me that they have seen my car in the nearby bush, that they parked my car. But unfortunately, they have took away my money. But I thank God as they were shooting, the bullets just scratched my body and my clothes. But I don't know how God preserved me. I thank God for everything He has done in my life. I thank God.
His life was preserved. He was not trained to shoot a gun. God empowered him. He shot at them. When he discovered the car, they were blood-stained all over. The car had been discovered now. Are you just looking like that? Come and give Jesus a shout!
You know, listen. We should be very careful of people we give informations. Because for robbers to waiting for you to come out, it means somebody already told them. When I saw the video, I didn't even know it was the one. The first night I saw, they sent the video to me this morning. I said, the first thing that whoever this man is, somebody trained him to this place. But brother, thank God for your life. Money comes, money goes. But life is very important. Let's give God the glory.
While David's bravery is amazing, it was also a very big gamble. He risked everything to protect his property. In the end, he survived, but he learned a very expensive lesson about the dangers of moving large amounts of cash in public. It is a lesson that he will never forget. The take-home lesson from this real-life event is that we must always be aware of our surroundings. If you are going to the bank, you must look around to see if anyone is watching you. If you see a car following you, you should drive to a police station instead of stopping at a restaurant. It is much safer to use your phone or a computer to send money instead of carrying it in a bag. Technology can help us stay safe from people like the men who attacked David. We must use the tools we have to make sure we do not become targets for criminals who are looking for an easy way to get rich. As we finish this story, we hope that the police in Minna find the men who did this. We hope that David gets justice for what happened to him. His story is a reminder that there are heroes among us, but there are also many dangers. We must be brave like David, but we must also be wise and careful. Thank you for listening to this incredible story of survival and courage. Please make sure to subscribe to Tremendous Crime in History for more stories like this one. We want to keep you informed and safe by sharing the truth about what is happening in our world. Until next time, stay alert and stay safe.